Alrighty, getting a bit of an early start today. Just going to take a look at my backup here, make sure stream is coming in good. Alright, looking good on my end here. Alright, so today starting a little bit earlier than normal. Basically, usually I have to make some lunch, like for my brother. He started his stuff early today, so decided to do an early stream today. And working on some stuff from Patreon. These will actually probably be the last little animations that I do through Patreon. Next month there's going to be some changes on Patreon, which is going to make it a little bit harder for me to track rewards like this. So next month I'm actually going to be moving these animation rewards to DeviantArt. I'm setting up a shop. On the 1st of November, I'll do a community post and let y'all know what's going on with that. But yeah, working on this one today. Pretty straightforward. It's the Patties lady getting eaten by giant Alex, who's been affected both by passion patties and by small size ray. And also, I'll be working on an animation of Macy doing like a little, like a, what's it called? A strut? Like a supermodel strut. And if I have time, there's a tug of war that I made assets for last month. So I might animate this. But we'll see how much time I have for everything. I'll start off with Alex, since it's pretty straightforward. Konichiwa says Rory Ocelot. We got Relevant Elephant. We have Charles Buchanan. Ooh, Oreo Milk. I think I haven't seen you before, Oreo Milk. Oh man, I love Oreo. Like, actual Oreo milk. I used to make that as a kid. I just put a bunch of Oreos in a glass of milk and sort of crush it up. It's gross, but that's what I did when I was a kid. Yenny's here. Watchman, Kyle Cameron, and Jared. Is that Totally Spies animation gonna be uploaded? For now, it's probably just going to be like a Patreon exclusive thing. But maybe later on, more will get added to it. We will see. After this year, I am definitely considering focusing a lot more on doing animations and stuff with original characters. So any stuff like this, that would have to come like almost 100% from like commissions from patrons, from people in the audience like y'all. But we'll see what happens next year. Can you do Sonic Growth Trick as a Patreon request? Again, not really doing Patreon requests. And going to be winding down certain rewards on Patreon. There are people. I do have like a top tier that's like around $100 that I'm going to leave on Patreon, but starting in November, it's going to just be commission work basically that you can buy from our DeviantArt channel. But yeah, Patreon is changing it so that they want to do subscription billing. So it's different from what I've been used to, where people get charged for their Patreon like first of the month. It just made it so easy for me to keep track of rewards. So they're changing that, so I'm gonna change things a little bit. That's fine, Jared, but that's stuff that someone would have to commission. Matthew Smith is here. What's up? Sonic, first Clover, now Alex. Yep. We got Matthew Smith and Matthew Swift. Are y'all the same guy? I've been meaning to ask that. Maybe you're long lost brothers. Jad is back. Welcome back, Jad. And Mr. Red Sloth. Firewolf the Wolfkin just started. But I was mostly talking about do a sequel to Twilight's Lab Mishap. Again, not something I'd be super interested in. I definitely next year transitioning from doing more stuff with original characters, and I'll leave these kinds of projects up to basically fans of the channel who want to commission this kind of stuff. Of course, it would still be stuff that's you know, that we can do on YouTube that is appropriate for YouTube, I should say. But yeah, just been growing more interested in doing stuff with original characters. Like David and Danny. There's another character that I've been playing around with her design. When I have more stuff ready for her, I'll show it off on the channel or on the community tab. And Jackie and Macy. I've noticed they have some fans. But yeah, we do have a few videos here that are pretty popular that actually were totally funded by fans. Like the one with Knuckles and the Chaos Emerald. The Powerpuff Girls one with the Rowdy Rough Boys, that was basically all funded by a Patreon patron. So that might be the way to go. Can you do the last part of Stella Shrinks? Yeah, that's a good example right there. That is something that is being funded by a patron for our Patreon for our channel. And we did recently start working on that one, actually. I got most of the audio work down, and I've started basically setting things up. Oh, I missed a few comments, I think. It's like Bittersweet is about to. Oh, yeah, I forgot that's her name. Bittersweet. Don't think I've heard of that series, Jad. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, that doesn't look like something I'd be super interested in. Yeah, they look like characters that are like designed like specifically to sell like dolls, you know? Which I have nothing against, you know, if someone's making like characters specifically for marketing or whatever, but just not my cup of tea. Macy eardrum talk. Flipping, morphing, swerving. If you're interested, I have some giant art on my DeviantArt account. I could check that out, Wolf. Let's see, Fresh Cup of Joe. Watching cartoons is fine, but making do what we want is better. Uh, I don't know if I would put it exactly like that. Especially when I'm working with characters, I do like to consider how they act. You know, what would they do in this situation? Character motivation, if you're trying to tell a story, should really be what guides the process, not so much what do I want to see or what the, does everyone else want to see. Nothing wrong with a little fan service, though, I guess. But yeah, I have gotten like scripts for the channel, but I've had to reject or rewrite a little bit because wasn't something like I thought would be very organic to the character. But I can see how some people want to be like the animator from that Daffy Duck cartoon, the one that's just sort of pushing around Daffy Duck, turning him into that weird screwball character. Jason Pendolph is here. And Steve Sabaha. And Rory Ocelot is at a school bus. May this perhaps be the Joe Biden collab stream? I don't get that. The Joe Biden collab stream. Did I already say hi to Naruto? Forgot if I did. But hi. Think Passion Patties would have been better if all three spies gained weight? I don't know. Didn't they very, very rarely do that on the series? It was usually like one character going through like something, some kind of B plot. Usually like some kind of rivalry with Mandy, or like issues with like dating someone or school or whatever. Maybe one of them was like having issues with how they looked or whatever. And then usually that's the one who goes through like some kind of change or a metamorphosis. But I could see all the spies changing if it was just like super wacky. Like the idea I've had with like a bunch of the villains teaming up and just like throwing everything at them. Passion Patties, Size Ray. What was it, like muscle bars? Or to make it simple, like just one villain like buys all that stuff like from some shady character, just steals it all from like evidence lockers or whatever. Tries to come up with some insane plot. Alright, Turning red when giant red panda is melee. That was a very interesting movie. It had some very surprising themes for... That was a Disney movie, right? But yeah, it's a very interesting movie. Interesting character design. Speaking of Scooby-Doo, did you know that the curse of Franken-Creepy was cursed for fat shaming? I think you mentioned that before, Firewolf. Um, yeah, don't know if that was fat shaming exactly. Um, it's not like she was shaming someone else for being overweight. She just personally didn't want to have that kind of body, you know? I also don't remember anyone else commenting on it except for herself, right? I'd have to watch that movie again. It's been so long. I watch that movie all over again. I mean, it's October. Can you do more shorts? We'll see. If I'm doing more stuff with original characters, like I mentioned, I might actually do that. Oh, I hope everyone's having a nice day so far. I had a very good night's sleep last night. Actually, woke up later than I normally do, so that was nice too, getting to sleep in a bit. Captain Alex Stars, yo, what's up? Not much. Getting a lot of folks I haven't seen here before. That's nice. Should try streaming super early more often. Lord Adrian, what's inspired you to take up animations? Uh, not sure. I think it's because I saw my little brother doing stuff like this, like animation and drawing, design. Kind of got me interested in it. Um, he needed some help, like um, getting some animation programs early on. So I helped him a bit with that. And I think because it was like from a student bundle, he got some extras. Like, so it's like he had the software on his computer and I could have it on mine. So played around with it, enjoyed it, and just started animating stuff I was interested in. It runs in the family. I don't know about that because he's lost a bit of interest in this stuff. I think he mostly does like comic book stuff now. But you know what? Um, I guess that's just part of being friends with a lot of people, or just getting interested in the stuff like family's interested in. You grow as a person. You become a little bit more well-rounded. And things change. Things definitely change with my brother. He's interested in other stuff, but I stayed interested in this stuff. Excuse me one moment. Sorry. Sorry. That was a phone for me. Midnight. It's early for you. It's night for some of us. Uh, yeah. Different time zones and all that. Trace Bivia, Animator. How do you feel about the franchise Star Wars in general? Um, it's all right, I guess. Uh, I think I was more interested in it with the original trilogy. It was like a classic movie. Excuse me one moment. Excuse me, sorry. Um, I just love what they were able to do with the kind of effects they had back then. There's some pretty timeless characters in classic Star Wars like Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, um, and concepts like the uh, the Death Star are just so cool. Uh, but I haven't really seen anything like super interesting involving Star Wars, in like forever. Um, I saw some stuff for like the Mandalorian, which was pretty cool. They were doing stuff like they did with the early episodes where it's like basically lifting ideas from westerns and um, samurai movies. And I've read a few Star Wars comics that were kind of interesting. There was like some about Boba Fett, which are kind of cool. But yeah, just not a not a series I'm like super into nowadays. If you're doing Totally Spies, maybe you can animate a short with diminutive smalls. Uh, you know what? If someone funds that, like on Patreon or DeviantArt, it's something I can do. Moto's here. Hey, Moto. Did I miss anyone else? Arthur. Hello, Arthur. Another fresh face here. Always nice to see. Oh yeah, the Gendy stuff that he did for Star Wars was pretty cool. I enjoyed the designs. Very exciting stuff. It was very different from the stuff we saw in episodes 1, 2, and 3 for Star Wars. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 were kind of bland, and the stuff Gendy did for the animated series was kind of cool. By the way, that's who they should get when they're doing storyboards for movies like this. They should get like cartoonists, because they really know how to they really know how to make a good action sequence, especially someone like Gendy. I mean, especially with the way people are doing action sequences nowadays in movies, where depending on the movie, it's usually going to be like a lot of CGI stuff. It's going to be a lot of animation. You know, like if you're doing a Star Wars thing and the guy's fighting a four-armed monster man with lightsabers, you should get someone like Gendy to storyboard, you know, how the fight goes, instead of letting it being choreographed by um, people that are better for like choreographing a fight between two live actors rather than, you know, like a fight between a guy and like uh, a cartoon monster. Duolingo. I should try that. I think that would help me learn a language. My ma used to have these cassette tapes she'd have in the car for trying to learn French. And she was doing pretty good until I think either she ran out of tapes or she just forgot to use them. So I don't know if something like that can be pretty effective. I can imagine something like Duolingo would like really be a good boost. Battle of BFG, the Big Friendly Giant. It's a fun story. I don't know how to learn CGI animation. That's a whole other thing. I've played with with it, and it's definitely different from what I'm doing now. See how much time was that? All right. I think this will be good enough. Get like a little bounce or something. Let me try that. Who voices Jackie on the channel? That would be friend of the channel, Maxstar. I believe we have a tab for her under voice actors. Superior Cyber Godzilla's here. Hello. Wesley. Rocky and Bullwinkle meet a giant woman. Rocky and Bullwinkle. I'm not sure if they meet a giant woman on their adventures. Doesn't feel like a Rocky and Bullwinkle premise to me. Maybe something you'd see in Fractured Fairy Tales. I could imagine Bullwinkle could try a dating app and his date is a giant woman and he was expecting a catfish. So a catfishing catfish? Also, sadly, I've already done that with Johnny Bravo. So I try not to be too derivative on the channel. Favorite language is Spanish, Japanese, and French. Those are some good countries to visit too. If you are learning languages to travel, you know. Lots of fun sights to see. Is that why you're learning a lot of languages, Rory? You want to travel? Or do you just want to enjoy media from those cultures? Because like when I watch anime, I definitely don't like subs. They're a little bit distracting. But I've also been told that the voice actors, the Japanese voice actors, they usually do better than the English voice actors. So I learned Japanese just so I can watch certain animes without the subtitles on. I learned manners. Oh yeah, that's another interesting thing I remember from looking at books about other cultures. Is a lot of cultures have very different manners, in a sense, than maybe what I'd be used to in America. I've read, for example, in some nations, it's rude to clean your plate if you're a guest in someone's house. And by cleaning your plate, I mean like eat everything on the plate. In some cultures, it's actually polite to leave a little bit of food on your plate so that your host doesn't think that you've been underfed. You know, certain gestures that might mean nothing in America might be very offensive in like Italy. I believe like scraping something off your shoe in front of someone in Italy can be seen as an insult. Yeah, it's fun to learn about other cultures, to see how how other folks live their lives. Later, Matthew. Hey, Magic Quill's here. Heyo. Sorry, I have a cat on my desk. All is forgiven, Moto. I think the last time that we were in chat together, you mentioned that too. That your cat was getting its business all up in your face. Uh, can't really think of anyone in my family who's like a big cat person, except maybe an auntie, one auntie. But she's like crazy cat lady-ish. Um, Basically lets the cats have free roam of the house. Like dinner could be set up on the table, and she'll just allow them to be walking around on the table. That kind of stuff. Not the best family to visit, like for Thanksgiving. I'm definitely more of a dog person. Oops, need to time that better. Let me time that. See how that looks. Oh wow, spent about 40 minutes on this. Which is fine. But I did want to work on on the Macy's strut. Technically, I spent an hour on this because it did take me time offline to sketch Bittersweet. So yeah, this is roughly an hour's work from the stuff that I had. I already had um, Big Alex from last month. So this month I'm adding to that. So yeah, roughly $25 a month, and you slowly build an animation of your own. But I'll have more information for that on November when I switch from doing this kind of work through Patreon to doing it through DeviantArt. Definitely going to be posting more on DeviantArt just because it's a good way to get more attention to our channel. And it's just a good place to be able to post stuff that maybe I can't on YouTube. All right, and let's end with, let me just test this really quick. I had a cat who chased off my grandfather's Rottweiler. Oh my goodness, that's kind of cute. Hey, isn't there a request, but there is plans for Brawl Stars short? Didn't see any plans on Patreon. I think the person who was commissioning that, they maybe lost interest or decided to fund something else. I'm a cat person myself, but dogs are cool too. Oh, that's nice, Matthew. How are ya? Asks Magic Quill. I'm doing fine. How are you? Did you know that tigers, bears, and lions are trained in circuses, but never or rarely ever a wolf? I'm guessing that lions and tigers and bears are more impressive to see than a wolf. That's probably why they don't have them in circuses. Also, they don't really have circuses anymore. I think one, maybe because people are too scared of clowns nowadays. And two, maybe there's definitely more people who look at like what happens with animal performances in circuses and think maybe it's a little bit cruel, you know? I've heard people making arguments that maybe zoos, you know, are a little too cruel. Because most animals just don't want to be in captivity. Some do better than others in captivity for sure. But yeah, I've read like about like bears. They're very adventurous creatures. They like to explore. They like to roam. So they don't do a lot of species don't do so good in captivity. That's why they usually have very complex looking enclosures. To kind of help them cope with being in captivity. Other critters, I think they maybe do a little bit better in captivity. Like certain predatory cats, I think they don't. Some of them don't mind like being in an area where, you know, they're being fed. But yeah, maybe zoos and definitely circuses. Probably not going to be seeing those around much, but I can see that with the zoos too. I think you can learn about animals without having to peek at them through a cage, you know. Virtual learning. Though I can understand like the importance of certain things like a wildlife preserve, you know. For me, it's kind of trippy that that there's more tigers existing now in captivity than in the wild, which is understandable considering like how how they've become endangered for different reasons. Well, life preserves definitely going to be very important. Sorry about all that. See, a few years ago, a tiger escaped from a circus in my area. Oh my goodness. I hope it didn't cause people too much trouble or panic. Scary stuff. Yeah, just better to leave animals where they are for the most part. If they need protection, it's fine to give them like a wildlife preserve. I don't know foxes. I didn't know foxes said no meow. What? Commander Clark. Oh yeah, I gotta check that series out. I recently finished watching the Carmen San Diego series. Pretty great. Loved how it ended. So, looking for another series to watch. Give Commander Clark a look since I hear about it a lot on chat. Rory, I'm always ready to see new fan art. That one girl, brah. You've seen content from Anomaly. I believe I have. I think I got them on my channel list. Do I? Maybe I don't have them on my channel list because some of their art was age restricted. But I am subscribed to Anomaly. Oh, it's a non-emoli. I didn't know that. Yeah, I've seen their stuff. Hey, you got any suggestions, Moto? Ask why is Macy always dressed this way? I guess that's just what she's most comfortable with. We're just gonna make a very basic walk cycle here. Yeah, I gave this too many layers. Let me see. Justice League Action, Lexi and Lottie, twin detectives, Skeleton Knight in Another World. Skeleton Knight sounds kind of cool. Let me look up some of these. Skeleton Knight. Let's see. Lexi and Lottie, twin detectives. Justice League Action. I think I've seen that one. Yeah, that one was pretty decent. Is that Mashal? Oh, it looks like anime Harry Potter. I take a look at Skeleton Knight. Sounds interesting concept. All right, so pretty basically for like for walk animation, and I'll make it like 1 second long. Body is gonna have like an up and down motion. If you ever seen like when people are breaking down um, a walk at a cycle, or rise up with a step, rise drop down. You know, it's like up and down, up and down. Harry Potter and One Punch Man. So I'm gonna guess it's kind of like comedic. doesn't look like much right now, but just sort of getting like a skeleton work done, like just a basic idea of how it's going to look, of like the movement of the legs and whatnot. Delicious in Dungeon. That's actually one that I've seen on Netflix that I've been super interested in. Partly because in my D&D group, we do have a character that's very big into cooking, and she actually cooked up some slimes, and she has some very funny eating habits. So when I heard about Delicious in Dungeon, I thought, oh, that could be a fun concept for a show. Haven't checked it out yet, but all the stuff I see for it looks pretty promising. No, nothing like that, Trey. Did actually get a commission on Deviant Art for sort of like a first date for Macy and Jackie. So I might be working on that one next week. I don't know if it'll add anything to the lore, but it's a fun concept, so I accepted. NY Tunes. I'm definitely gonna come up with fan art for Giant Macy. Someone is actually asking if it would be okay for them to commission like some art of Macy. And I let them know they can, like if they're not asking us to commission it or whatever, they could commission whatever they want. I'm not going to stop anyone from that. We might not accept it as fan art for the channel, but it's fan art. It's gonna get fan servicey at some point, so you know, I can't stop it. I can't stop it. I just won't subscribe to it or reference anything specific, you know. Is Macy a goddess? I'd say that having a relationship with Jackie, she indirectly has being in contact with Jackie. She's like has some immortality. So as long as she's in a relationship with Jackie, she won't like be aging or anything like that. And she did get like a bit of a power boost that time when Aphrodite blessed Jackie with some extra goddess powers. So I'd say she's somewhat of a demigoddess, yes. Can you make Disney Heroes battle mode? Asks Bestie Westies. Oh. Gonna have to say I'd have to see a script, but yeah, sounds like something someone could commission. I might be down for that. By the way, sorry if this is a little annoying, but are my bases still okay even with the Patreon changes? Uh, Let me take a look at. You're still there, Kush? All right. So let's see, which one was yours? All right, I think this was your base that you were asking for, right, Kush? So this is still something that's in our archives. It's something that we'll finish by the end of the month. And if you want more added to your Patreon reward, you'd have to do it through DeviantArt when it's November 1st. But yeah, no worries. We're not going to stiff anyone. It'd be funny if Macy was like from the 1800s. Maybe if they had started their relationship in the 1800s. I'm sure there's some other goddess who formed, or god, who formed a relationship with someone in the Victorian era. Yeah, don't worry, Kush. It'll get done, and then after October, you just have to commission us through the DeviantArt shop, and we could add to it, you know, animate it more, etc., etc. Alright, this one's getting there. Still need to smooth out some stuff. Yeah, I'm starting to notice it's much easier through DeviantArt. Um, Especially because whoever acquired Patreon recently, they're trying to make it a little bit harder. They want to, I believe, raise like fees for people who are uh, buying things through the Android app, I think. And it's like I don't want like patrons to be getting charged more just because it's like on a different platform. It doesn't. It's not fair. It's inconvenient. So maybe it'll get a little bit messy after October, um, but I'll make sure people, get what they paid for, and that they are satisfied. Danny beat up her teacher. No, Danny loves her teacher. Danny's teacher gives her pumpkin stickers because she recognizes Danny's great work in citizenship. I haven't come up with a character for the principal, though, or the vice principal. Maybe I'll make them a meanie. Seems to be a common trope. The mean vice principal. It's yen. Hey, I know what you mean, Animator. Partly why I made my shifts a while back. We all gotta change. Later, Moto. Thanks for dropping in. I feel like DeviantArt would be less stressful when it comes to deadlines. Yep, that's true. I could definitely work at my own pace. I don't have to worry about getting it within a month. It's much easier for me to open and close the shop and then announce, okay, we're closed for this, but we're still open for that. Or now we're open for that. So yeah, that's something I'll have to applaud DeviantArt for is, I mean, they don't always get it right, but they're definitely making it a little bit easier for people that want to do commission work, you know. I just hope new people are kind of aware of, you know, what we try to do on the channel. Hope they're understanding why I might not be able to do the super fan servicey thing that they might want to see. So we'll see. Most of our patrons on Patreon, you know, kind of get what our channel's about, so I appreciate that. All right, 67 minutes, not too bad. I'll see how I'm feeling after this, but maybe I'll play around with something else. I just got scared by an ad. I hope it was at least a Halloween themed ad. Alright, right now just sort of adding a few things to make her strut like a little bit more bouncy maybe. I think I might have seen that, Soren. Well, she has to be smug, Quill. She's doing her supermodel walk. I watched the thing the other day about Camp Coral from SpongeBob. It was like a reunion thing. Actually made me kind of interested in checking out the show. They did a really interesting sizey concept that I noticed. I guess on Camp Coral, there's these characters that's like an anglerfish. I think their names are Roxy, and it's basically like one of them is like the anglerfish, and the other's like this tiny fish that's on the lure. You know, the anglerfish lure. And apparently they like switch sizes after a few cycles. So like in the Camp Coral reunion, the little one was now the big one, and the big one was now the little one. I thought that was kind of fun. They had a pretty gory looking scene in the Camp Coral reunion thing that I thought was pretty gory. I saw a lot of people commenting on it and posting it on like Twitter. Like those things people post where it's like SpongeBob with no context. An inflated belly with abs is hard to draw. I can imagine that. I'm sure you'll find a way, Yen. Soren, was your fan art the one with, I think it was a fart. Is that the one? You gotta believe in yourself, Yen. Or just plunge into it and, whatever the results may be, sometimes you just gotta be happy with what you are able to do. There has to be some references for that kind of stuff. Swear I've seen some. Soren, is it the one with Jackie after eating 5 Chipotle burritos? Yeah, not really my thing. But you do you, Soren. I hope my patron will like this. Dang, I just noticed that the stream froze for me. Is anyone dealing with a frozen stream? I might do something with like them like on a first date. Yeah, I think my tab just died on me. Wow. Uh, give me 1 second. All right, there we go. I only noticed it wasn't working because I had mentioned, oh, we're at 67 minutes, but then I looked back and we were still at 67 minutes. We're at 92 minutes. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna try and finish this off real quick, and then I will call it a day. Thankfully, this part is pretty easy. Next week I gotta think about getting a pumpkin. As me and my brother, we always do our jack-o'-lantern carving traditions. Sometimes we'll watch a spooky movie while we're carving something. Keep looking and thinking of different ways I could like improve it. When I should be thinking about wrapping up. All right, just going to add this. I'm going to then add a little sound effect. And then I think I will call it. Tomorrow's Friday, so probably no streaming again until Tuesday. I'll see what kind of stuff I have that I can stream. Maybe I'll do like a little preview of our next Gravity Falls video. I remember Dan Phantom. Or Daniel Phantom, as some people call him. Soren, it's fan art. You can do whatever you want. I am fairly picky about the kind of stuff that I'll include in the fan art roundup at the end of a lot of our videos. But I don't tell people like, oh, you should draw this, oh, you should draw that, and just whatever you feel like as a fan. And if it's inspiring, if I'm inspired by it, I'll I might animate it. But I don't give out hints and tips like, oh yeah, you should draw more of this, you should draw more of that. All right, I think this will do it for today. Thank you everyone for dropping in. Sorry if I missed your comments. Hope I didn't miss anything. Um, like I said, changes are coming to the channel. Most of them are likely going to happen after I hit, whenever we hit 300k subscribers. But for now, the most immediate change is just sort of migrating the art that we make for you guys, for supporters, moving from Patreon to likely being commissions on DeviantArt. But more on that to come in November. Thanks everyone for dropping in today. Have a nice rest of your day. And I'll see you when I see you. Peace.